Bring it back, ladies and gentlemen. Folded the Jack 5 just after the break was the first time we got dealt. So we missed nothing, everybody folded. And Snime 1003 raised to 744 and the Sandpin behind him, which is a very cute girl. We'll put him all in. I don't know if it's in Russia. Could be that she's a Russian, but I don't know. Could be that she's just a famous poker player he used as an avatar, just as we did. Avatar. Let's see. So resuming the play here, we are 30k in chips, which means position 881 of 2456. King 10 suited is a hand which we will raise because he's in the blind, has a bit the right stack, the same amount that we have. And you'll think twice about calling. Everyone behind us is really big except +2. But 1700 to risk for 1920 to get. It's a good chance we take it down because we've only showed good hands so far. Except the one we bluffed with the Queen 10. So let's just try this. I think if Brass folds, we have a good chance. Maxi thinks about it. Telite thinks about it. Small blind, he might push. Raise to 4,300, 2,600. I get pretty good odds. Let's just see what comes. He has a very short stack. 6, 3, 5. Not a good hand to be in. It's probably a bluff. You raise. Can't continue that. I will just give it to him. Wasn't a good call for the flop with the King 10, but I had it suited. Any draw, I would have put them all in there. Any gut shot, maybe too. Any pair, I would have probably put them all into. I would have lost quite a big chunk of my stack, but it's likely he had ace king, ace queen, or just a pair of nines or something like that. But I mean, you have to try. Can't always give up if somebody raises you. It's better to take a chance. If you percent chance of winning a3, there's a 10. That would be a bad beat to lose that against a3. Huge chance. What was it saying? It's new. It's a new software. I haven't played in a long time, as I told you in the first episode. So I'm not quite familiar with that software. But it tells you the odds right now, which is nice. I mean, I pretty much know all the odds, because I can calculate pretty much anything very easily with a 2% rule for one card. He's calling, that's nice. 9-3, I maybe see a flop. It hits trips or something. There would be trips, but I don't have a 10. Just see, I don't think he will continue there. Maybe he will bluff it, yeah. Nope. Yeah, thanks. I thought that would be an ideal spot to bluff, because I can easily have a 10 there. He just checked before the flop, could have anything. He doesn't know what I have there, and I don't think he can have a 10. It's very unlikely for him to have a 10. Check limp with a 10 and then hit trips and then bet. It's too fishy, I think. Of course he can have a 10, but then I lose 4k. I will not continue the hand if he raises me. Or if he calls, I will not go broke with it. I will probably try a small bet on the turn or something, making him think I really have the 10. But as it turns out, it worked, and we are back on 30k, which is nice. He's all in. We're not gonna call with the ace-9. Could argue for calling, but two guys are behind me, and I don't want to put all the chips on the ace-9. I think that's not even an argument there. All that, if you're on the big blind, maybe the ace-9 suited, maybe you could think about calling. Especially because you got 1k already in, you just need 10k more. And you're often you're very behind, very much. Ace-Jack, You could easily have ace jack, ace 10. Or pocket nines or something. I wouldn't recommend a call there. It's too early, still too early for that call. That call you can make on the final table. To knock players out, to give yourself a chance to get chips, get a big stack, to pound on opponents. That's implied odds as well, because you can multiply your winnings from that hand in the next hands. Just pounding and getting blinds and getting more when you go all in. Because you really need to win all the chips once you're on the final table. I can still also fold there. Depends on the player. I think Trust 2 is pretty loose. He's played a lot of hands, but not on the button. Not with these kind of stacks behind me. If they were both on like 15k, could think about calling there. But he's under the gun. He has to push, of course. He has to push with anything. It's king, queen, queen, jack. I put him on 2 6s, to be honest. Somewhere around that. 7s, 6s, 5s. But I put him on 2 6s. If he calls, we will see. I think he will call. Took a long time already. Nope. He doesn't show. That's for you to decide what he had. I don't think he had a really big hand, because he would have just raised then, because he desperately needs the chips. He even needs a call from the big blind. Just to get anything, because the blinds won't help him, really. Will help him survive, but won't help him come back. And he's just got 12 big blinds now. It's really not a lot. I would hate that spot to be in. Can only play push or fold. Just good for a beginner. If you're a beginner, that's a really good spot to be in. Just push or fold. You fold the king 10 here, because he's going to push with anything. And if he pushes, he's better than my king 10. I think. I mean, anything doesn't mean any hand at all. Any hand. It means anything better than king 10. King queen, king jack, he will push probably. Any pair will push. Any ace he must push. It's a good hand if somebody pushes with any ace. How do I want to play that? Maybe I will just limp. Call, raise, or 2000, that's nice. Just make them think we are thinking about calling or folding, whereas we are thinking about not anything but calling. So I hope he will push again. With 6000 already in there. Just hope somebody pushes behind me. Nope. Ha, king jack 3. That's dangerous. Really is dangerous. It's two guys that have almost the same amount of chips as we do. Could be a trap that they are setting. Especially Gustavo Gams. He raises, I'm gonna be sick to the stomach. He calls, I don't know what I'm gonna be. Fold would be the most welcome here. He calls. Oh my goodness. Please don't bet. He checks. I'm gonna check too. If he moves all in on the river, I don't know what I'm gonna do. He's no king, jack, or ace, or queen, or 10. Anything like a 3 or something. There's a queen. But the queen doesn't really mean a lot. Could have ace 10, but it's not very likely. Could have 9, 10, but it's really unlikely. Could have had queens or king, queen. Or queen, jack, or queen, jack is unlikely as well. King, queen would be the most likely he could have now to have me beat. Could have had king, jack. Oh, he's checking. Wow, that's... Normally that's a bet. He could have ace king, that's unlikely as well. What can he have? He could have queen 10, then he's not gonna call a lot. Let's just check it. Oh my gosh. 8s. Would he have called with 8s again on the river? I mean, would he have called on the turn? That's what I was thinking about. What would he call me with? That doesn't have me beat. ace king, but the ace is very unlikely because I have two of them. And then he would have probably raised on the flop or bet the flop. So the hand didn't really make sense to bet. I mean, I have a good hand, I have ace, I have a better pair, but if he pushes all in, I have to call then, because the bet would be big enough to give me the odds to call anything he could bet then. And if he pushes all in, I'm almost certainly beat. He could also call with the better hand. Then I have king jack, maybe a queen jack or a king queen. And what would he call me with? King 10. I will be the only hand he could call me with that I have beat. It would make sense. That's why would he raise king 10 under the gun? I played it quite well, I think. Would he have re-raised with 8s? I doubt it. Would he have called with 8s? Maybe. He would have followed the flop then with the 8s if he hadn't pushed before the flop, which I doubt. So I played it quite well, I think. I could have betted the river, of course. But exactly for the reasons I've just told you, I didn't want to. I don't know if that was too careful or not. But the board really wasn't too good for us anymore. If he had a flush draw, he wouldn't have called. The flush didn't come, and if so, he had me beat. He could only have a straight draw with the queen 10, then I could have gotten a little bit more out of him. But this way I showed him I only bet very strong hands, so it's good for our table image that I just checked there. I'm showing him, no, I respect your hand, and I will only bet if I know I'm ahead, or if I'm very certain I'm ahead. I will not bet on hands I think I'm beat or I might be beaten. The turn would have been a better point to bet there because there were many draws and none came on the turn. The turn, yeah. I should have bet the turn. I would probably... Yeah, but still he had 8s. Why would he call again with the 8s? Only for catching me bluffing. And I don't see that happen a lot. That he would call there with the 8s on the turn. He just called the flop because he thought I was stealing, because both of them checked to me. And once I bet the turn again, he'd probably just fold. Unless I bet very, very weak. Like 3k again or something like that. That I could have gotten out of him, I think, on the turn. For him hoping to hit it in 8 or me having a total garbage hand. Like ace queen or ace 10 or something like that. But on the river, I think. With the king queen jack out there, he would not have called anything. Any draw I had would have given me a better hand. Any queen 10, any ace 10, any ace queen would have given me a better hand then. So why would he call that? Yeah, that's a nice. Give him a jack, please. Wow. You are unlucky, man. Brave. You are really unlucky. That was bad. That was really bad. Ace queen against ace 10. He had tripped hands with only jack to help him. Which is still better than only queen to help him, but that's really unlucky. Having the best hand and getting knocked out is most frustrating in the entire poker business, I think. Especially in such a big tournament that is only once a week, where you got to the last 2000, had a nice stake, then had 8s against aces where you couldn't do much, didn't lose a lot in there, only 3,600 more than you should have. And then you get ace queen against ace 10 and the guy hits strips on you. Rajev, I'm sorry for that. Sorry that you had to encounter that today. It's better to really lose in the first hand, the first couple of hands, because the time you invest in this tournament really gets you to a point where you don't want to lose. You don't want to get knocked out. Because the time is more valuable than the money, I think. To most of the poker players, at least. I know to some of them it's not, but for me, the time I put into this, I want some sort of win. I think I really want. I don't know. I just don't want to get knocked out ever. I don't want to get knocked out of any tournament I'm playing. Unless I'm in second place or something, I win a big amount of money to help with the loss. But to get knocked out here is really annoying. Especially like he did. So again, I'm sorry for that, Prajev. You played quite well. Except the one call with the 8s on that flop. But, I mean, he could be ahead. Could be that I was stealing. I played it tricky and I just called the aces. Nothing more to say to that. Just hope we don't run into something like that. 8s against aces and an ace queen against ace 10 and the guy had strips on us. I had that often enough, I can tell you that. I had that very often. I had worse scenarios. I really had worse scenarios. One I can remember, I had ace 10, the flop was ace 10 deuce, total rainbow. I played it very sneaky, re-raised the minimum. He re-raised me 3 times on the flop, I re-raised the minimum. I wanted to get all his money, and it was a cash game. I think 2-4 hold'em. So we were both deep stacked, we had like 900 or 1,000 each. And he re-raised, I re-raised, he re-raised. And then he called. The fourth time I re-raised him, he just called. The turn was a queen, and I was sick to the stomach with the queen on the turn. But I thought, oh man, if he had king jack, I'm gonna be puking all over the place. If he re-raised me with king jack, I'm gonna be puking. If he was ace queen, it's even worse. So he hit a 3-outer then. And of course I went all in. It was only like 400 left from the original 1,000 we had. I pushed it and he instantly called and showed me ace queen. And I mean, I played it uncarefully, to say the least. But him re-raising like that and then calling the fourth re-raise instead of pushing or folding. What did he expect me to have? I don't know. And that's really not a good play. Ace 6 against ace 9. 5-10. Ace 6. Oh, he has a 6. I would have won on that. I mean, 5-10. What can you do? Not a lot you can do there. Ace 6 against ace 9. And they both go all in. And the ace 6 wins. Another bad beat on this table. I've pulled some bad beats today as well. No doubt about that. I'm not saying I played the greatest and had the best hand every time the money went in. I got lucky at least 3 times. I had pretty strong hands at least 4 or 5 times. And I pulled a bad beat on someone, I think. I called all in. And that's poker. I mean, if you can't handle that, you shouldn't be playing. Because it will happen quite a lot. That's a good hand. Let's just hope nobody has anything better. That will be sick. 2,400, 5,200. If he has a better hand, then so be it. Vlasevic. Thinking about something. I would like a call from him. Because the other guy will probably call 2. And then we can play without making too much damage to each other. Because we will only bet our hands are strong enough to win the pot. Because we can't bluff Vlasevic out. But he has already folded. Now he's thinking. He's raising to what? 10k. Oh my gosh. I really thought I would go all in here. Chess 87. This be the one time I'm mistaken. Could just call. I get very, very good odds on that call. but there are a lot of overcards. I think I'm gonna push. Yeah. Oh my goodness. No king, please. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I'm getting lucky. Getting super lucky. Sorry, Chess87. You played better than I did. You deserve to be in my spot, to be honest. I thought about him having big hand, but min race was really telling me that he had a better hand. I put him on ace king, to be honest. And then it would be perfectly fine to shove with the jacks. That's why I did it. I didn't think would be unlucky enough for him to have ace, kings, or queens, which were the only hands that had me beat. It turns out he had kings, and I got very lucky. That was a 20% shot I had there. And I would have had only 6,000 left to play with. That's maybe why I pushed, because I thought I'd still have a chance to get back with 6,000. Just push the next 5 hands and get to maybe 15,000, then I would be quite back where I was. But, I mean, can you fold the jacks there? I mean, he wasn't under the gun or anything. He was just one step off he was on the cutoff, one step short of the button. That put me to shoving there. That and that I had more chips than him. I don't like my shove now. I could have folded it. I was thinking about folding it. Or calling. Looking at the flop, then I would have, of course, shoved with the full house. But yeah, I couldn't have folded really. It was just 4,000 and 70,000. I had the odds to hit a set as well, so fold was out of the question really, if I think about it. He made it too little, but if he had raised it more, I would have been more obliged to go all in, really. If he had made it more, I would have thought, no, I'm ahead. With the small raise he did, I really thought I was behind or flipping at best. Wow. If this is a tournament I get lucky, I'm liking it. Can't be too sorry for your luck. I mean, I have had worse speeds in tournaments like this. I can tell you that. I had a lot worse. I had beats like hitting a set and then the guy hit a set on the turn and we got it all in and he won and everything. And I got beats that were later in the tournament that were tougher than this one. I mean, pair against pair, what can you do? It goes all in. One guy will win with 80%, the other one with 20. Just so is that I was the guy who had 20%. I'm still sorry for him, though he invested like 4 hours of playing. Got into a really nice spot where he did kings against jacks, had all the money in, could have won 60,000, which is a really good stack now, and 211 of 1850, which is the money in this tournament. We are not playing for the money, we're playing for winning this tournament. I'm playing every tournament for winning it. Unless it's $1 million buy-in, then I'd probably play for just to reach the money to get my $1 million pay. It's not that I'm rich, but I mean, if you're playing tournaments, you want to win. That's the case. Just want to win. It's just so annoying if you get knocked out. Oh, 2,400. Oh, king queen suited. But he has a bigger stack than I have. He raised under the gun. There's a lot in I could call, but there's a lot of opponents behind me that might raise or push. So I'm gonna fold this. Normally I would call the king queen suited. But in this spot, I mean I have position on him, but if I hit a king or queen, I have no way of knowing where I am. And the chances are I'm still behind if I hit a king or queen. Then if I hit a flush draw, I have to stick with it, lose a lot of chips if I don't hit it. Then I could be behind if I hit my flush. He could have ace-10 of diamonds, and this flop tells me I did everything right. King queen suit is a really nice hand. I really like it, but in a tournament, in a cash game, I would never fold it to a single raise. But in a tournament, you have to play a little bit more cautiously. And king queen really isn't a good hand. It's only because it's suited. You can get a lot of draws with it, like the 10 check of diamonds on the flop. You even have ace of speed, percentage-wise. The odds are for you. I mean, you can still lose with all the draws and everything. You can still lose with 2 pair. The guy hits an ace on the river with this ace king. So king queen isn't really too strong in the tournament, and we are already good spot. We don't need to gamble. Can just wait and look and take the blinds. We don't need to gamble with the guy who raised another gun. We shouldn't have gambled with the other guy who had kings, to be honest. Maybe a call before the flop would have been better there. I like to call with big hands, to be honest. Because it's exactly what happens when you don't do that. Exactly what happens is you only get one all-in who has a better hand. Or they fold. If you just call, you can get worse hands into it that hit something on the flop. Or want to play against you with nothing. And if you just call, you get a lot more value. Of course, you get beaten a lot more by hands that build up on something you couldn't see. But yeah, you can play more carefully. You can decrease the pot size. You have a better grip on your opponent. I had position on him. Queen Jack. Let's just call this. The hell of it. Yeah. That's what I thought would come. You can have it. It was just so little. 1300 into 4000 or something. I had Queen Jack. You can always flop a straight or 2 pair. Even a Queen or Jack might be good against a single raise from time to time. But that's again tough decision making on the flop against the guy who raised another gun if you hit a Queen or Jack. So be really careful doing these decisions and really control the pot size. Don't want to blow the pot size into oblivion. You don't want to raise, re-raise, and go all in. Really want to do a trick from time to time where you just think a lot and then just call, make the other guy believe you were thinking about raising or folding. So he thinks, okay, I can't extract much more out of him, or he might even check the turn because he thought you were raising. So that's the way of pot control also. Just take your time and think about the hand and think about the call. Don't insta-call. So that will probably tell them that you will be calling anything. And then the size of the bet might be bigger. Or you might even check raise you on the river or something like that. What do we have? Jack 4. Very nice hand on that board. I would like to get it back. No, I won't. And no, I don't. Oh, the guys next to us have the most chips. That's unfortunate. Because I'm always in the blinds or in the button versus blinds or button versus cutoff fights against them. That's not a good idea. Like you've seen earlier, the guy with the kings had almost as much chips as I did, and I would have almost lost all my chips. So it's better to have opponents next to you who have very little chips or like half of your stack. So you can pound on them, can raise and take pots away from them. Jack 5, I'm getting hit by the deck now. But I can't really say I got unlucky. Jacks against kings and Jack on the flop. That was really nice. By the way, Queen would have given me the win also. With the queens and jacks. So it wasn't a good flop for me, really. If I had a set, it wasn't really a good flop. It would have been better if it was Jack deuce deuce or Jack 2-4, something like that. But I'm still taking it. I mean, he has the 2 queens as outs as well. With the 2 kings, so he had 4 outs on that flop. Which makes it double what he had when I just had hit the set. Well, it's still not bad. It's still a better position to be in than aces versus kings. With the jacks on the queen, queen, jack versus kings. But 16% is not to be underestimated. 60% is quite a lot. Every 5 to 6 times he will win this from the flop on. That's quite a lot for flopping a full house. Quite a lot, that is. Oh my gosh, I'm so sick. 3-raising. And all in 25, 26 will not go all in. So why the name? Why the name? Dude from Israel. Why the name if you don't go all in then? Somebody raises you. But the game for us is on a break, I think. We had enough good hands. So we will just sit back and enjoy the show for a moment until we get something to strike with or get a good position when no one raised before us. Then we will come back. We are still 288 of 1673. And in 1 minute, in under 1 minute, the blinds will go up to 750 and 1500 with an ante of 150, which is quite a lot. We have 40 big blinds, 42, 43 big blinds we have. When that happens, it's a mid-sized stack to play with, I think. A good stack, but it's not entirely safe for us. There are a lot of opponents like next to us that kind of cripple us within one hand. So we have to be careful. Can't pound on our opponents yet. We really can't. And I don't know if I really want to do it, even if I had like 300k. I think the best way to play a big stack is to keep playing it the way you did until you reached that stack with a little bit more aggression. A little bit. So if you think the opponents are weak and they have a low stack, just put them all in. A little bit more often. A little bit. Not too much, because they will notice, and everybody knows the big stack is aggressive and they will try to double up through you. So don't overestimate your stack. It will not prevent you from losing all your chips. I had it quite often. I had 100, 200,000 at this stage, and then I lost it all because I just raced too often. Got unlucky, of course. I got unlucky too. And aces beaten by ace king or something. That happened. Of course, if you go all in all the time, it will happen to you. 3,000. I had the big stack, but again, the position is not good. Too many people behind us. If we call, there are already 10k in there, and the small stacks are obliged to go all in then. And head out, I will call with fours. If somebody with 20k goes all in. And it's too random. You don't know what they are holding. They can still have a very good hand and a better hand than pocket fours. So I will not call this. If I were on the button or the cutoff, maybe I would have called this, because there were fewer hands behind me, fewer people. And the chances of getting raised were lower. But look at this. The big blind raised all in. So I did a good fold there. I would have called this. I think if he folds, if I had the 3,000 in there, I would have called the 18k more with the pocket fours, but I mean, it's not a good spot to be in. It's not a good spot to be in, so I'm glad I folded, and I will fold this as well, because it's the worst hand you can get for raising, I think. Because either they call you, you have to hit a deuce, or they re-raise you, you have to fold. And the only thing you want with pocket deuces is to the entire table to fold, so you don't really need the pocket pair. You can do that with any hand, so I'm not playing this. I would have played it from the small blind and the button, but not from this position. Because if I play it from the small blind or the button, if somebody calls me, then I can still make a bet on the flop and make them fold. And he loses with tens against ace king. Well, that's normal, and I'm glad I folded the pocket deuces, because ace king would not have folded to me. They would probably have re-raised me, and the pocket tens would not have folded. So I would have lost a lot of chips there without having any chance of winning some. Deuce 5 is a really bad hand. I don't even want to see a flop for 1500 with that. Because I think that's really... Yeah, he's gonna raise for sure with his stack. Yeah. Can have it. Deuce 5 on not pretending to have something. But always re-raise a small blind raise. Always. With any hand, you can re-raise them. Doesn't really matter what you're holding. But I'm not gonna do it with the Deuce 5. I wanna have something better. Or I wanna have knowledge of what he's having. I wanna have some information before he raises. I want to see him raise more often, or I want to see you raise before him, and then if he re-raises, like on the button and he re-raises, I might take it off of him with Deuce 5. I might. It's not that I will do it every single time. I might. But without information, the Deuce 5 is to be rid of. Excuse my English. I will do this in French, but my French is worse than this. By the way, did you know that they are playing poker in France and in Spain the other way around? Goes this way. And the king is not a K, it's an R for royal. And the queen is an F, I think. And it's really weird if you play there for the first time. I can tell you that, especially because it's the other way around. That's really not a good thing for me. You don't know when the action is up to you, and you don't know what's happening, and really you need to play like 3 hours to get used to that. That's not a good flop. Really not a good flop for ace queen. I was trying to play against him heads up with the ace queen. I wanted to keep a small pot and not have him move all in. Yeah, it's just folded. I played it bad. Should have re-raised before the flop on the button. But then again, if he pushes, I have to fold. Doubt that I would have called with the ace queen. So I just lost 3k with the ace queen. He might have had ace king or better or something like that. He might have had ace queen, he might have had ace jack and hit his jack. Who knows? I don't. 6-7 suited is not a calling hand. I would have liked to put a raise in with that. But I'm not being asked what I want to do, unfortunately. And he just pushes all in. Well, with his stack, it's not a bad play to put it this way. But I don't like it. For my type of playing style, it's nothing to do his way. It's just showing that you can play. I don't want to say you can play poker, but you can play after the flop really well. Because what hand do you want to push all in with? Either it's a really bad hand that you don't want to have action on, or it's a mid hand that you don't want to have action with. And it's now a really good hand, so people will know that you don't have aces or kings, really. So why would you push all in? Not make them unaware of what you're holding. It's just a normal raise. How do they want to know what you're holding? It's just a normal raise. They can, and that's the point. You don't want to make yourself be in red easily. And I hope nobody's raising this. Ace-9 suited, come on. Just call or fold. I can get re-raised every time, but I can. Fortunately, I can. I doubt that I will call this. I'm out of position. Ace-9 suited is really not a good hand. It's a good hand to steal the blinds with. If somebody decides to call, you can flop almost anything. 2 pair, 1 pair. Flush draw. That's 4,000 into 14,000. Let's see, flop. Yeah, that's the flop I was hoping for. I doubt that he has a flush, but I mean, can you be sure? No, you can't. There's a jack. Let's just see if he has anything. Maybe he's gonna fold. I can't put him on nothing. I think if he checks, he's got to have anything on the flop. Maybe he has ace queen of spades or something. I don't know. I can tell you what he has. And now we're gonna split with the ace queen. I think he has nothing. Just bet 14,000. He might have a king, then it's a really bad bet. Let's just bet 9-8. Maybe he had tens or something like that. He had a king, he's gonna push, and I'm gonna fold. If he has an ace, I hope he folds. I don't want to split. He has to call, I think, with an ace. I don't really know what I want him to fold. That was a bad bet on my part. The only thing I want him to fold is queens and an ace. Those he will fold queens there. I think he can fold an ace, but I should have bet bigger then. But he thinks quite a lot, so he won't re-raise. Might call me off with queens. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what he has. Maybe he has a flush. He played it poorly. If he raises, well, it's an insta fold for me. If he has an ace and he raises all in, then well played. Ah, he has queens. My only hand that beats me. That's the only hand that beats me. You could have queens. Da da da! Played bad. Should have bet more on the river. Should have bet a lot more on the river. That was bad. The only hand that had me beat that could call this and not have raised earlier or done anything earlier was queens. Should have checked or bet more. Maybe even moved all in. That was a bad play on my part, really. That wasn't good at all. Don't do it like that. 9,800 into 40,000 if you think he's weak. Don't do that. I know we got an ace against the big stack. Not a really good ace. I will have to call this as a 6. And there's an 8. If he has ace 8. Hallelujah. Maybe he has a flush draw and still keeps playing. I have to call. Almost anything I have to call now. I can't see him have an ace 8. Can see him have an ace jack and check for check raise there. Jack 10, nice, thanks. That's why I just call and let them hang themselves and let them bluff. Like he did with the queens. He thought, we both thought the same thing. If I have nothing, I'm gonna keep betting. If I just have a flush draw with the club, I'm gonna keep betting, and he just picks me off. He didn't like the king though, and the jack on the turn he didn't like even more. Well, he didn't really hate the king on the river, but I mean, it wasn't a board structure that he could have liked at all. I just wished he had pocket tens, then I would have won with the ace high. The queens was unfortunate. It was really unfortunate because I can't see him having a big hand there, like he played it. The flush, I could have make fold with a bigger bet. I could have made fold the queens with the bigger bet. Could have made fold the ace with the bigger bet. What I bet was oblivious. It was the total waste of chips. 9,000 to 40,000. I should have gone all in. Then he would have thought I had a jack or king. For sure. But I mean, he played it quite well. I played it poorly, so the chips go to him. What can you say? Can't really be frustrated about him. I can only be frustrated about my play, which was stupid. I could have saved the 10k there in the end. Just bet nothing. He would not have bet anything and just checked it down with his queens. I doubt that he would have made a bet there. maybe a tiny one, which I might have called with the ace high, thinking he had tens or something. But bet 10k there was just freaking waste. Could have made better bet. Did he have? Wait a second. Did he have? Oh, how do I go back in hands? Did he have? Yeah, he had the queen of clubs. I could not have made him fold. Maybe he would have folded on the turn if he hadn't had the queen of clubs. Just call this. Yeah, that's a nice flop. But it's gonna hit him more often than not. There's our flush. I hope he doesn't have a flush. That would be stupid. Hmm. Ah, why do I call it the deuce 3 of clubs? Ah, flush versus flush. Nice hand. I knew it. That's the second hand I played poorly. And it's time for us to leave this tournament. Ah, gosh dang it. 3 deuce. And the club comes on the turn. If nothing comes, I'm gonna fold there. He even makes a straight as well. And it's straight on the board. I could not have escaped the river. Well, flush versus flush. But why do I call it a deuce 3? It was 1500. I had a suited connector, and I thought I could push him off. Because I didn't put him on a big hand, of course, because he was in the button and I was in the big blind. Just thought I could have pushed him off any flop that hasn't got an ace or king or queen in it. Maybe even then. I don't know what he would do. King 10. It's unopened, I'm gonna push that. And that's just unfortunate that we play 2 hands poorly in a row. Within 10 minutes and then lose the entire tournament. Just we play 2 hands very poorly. And play a hand that you should not have played. The deuce 3 of clubs. You should have just folded it at 50k. Should have just folded it and then you would still have 50k. Would have played the queen's hand better and we would have 100k. But as it turns out, we played it poorly. That's just the case. I can't blame anyone. Just can blame the freaking 8 of clubs on the turn. And I can blame us for playing poorly. 9-6 suited. Paw. Everybody's got a call, I think. I push, he's got a call. And then I'm not ahead of anything though. 9-6 suited is a nice hand to go all in with, but I think he has to call in the big line. And I wanna be ahead of what he's calling with, at least. I still have a chance to hit something better. Maybe a small pair or something. There it is. That's a nice hand if nobody has anything. I can even take the blinds and double up. 4,800 in there. I'll be happy to do so. I think it's over. I think we're gonna lose this. I think we're gonna run into ace 10 and he hits a 10 on the river. So thanks for watching in advance. And don't play the freaking Sunday Million. Because if you play that, then you're out of the tournament. Can't get lucky all the time. But at least we get a nice pot if he still calls. Oh, he has 6, that's nice. No 6, please. We make a straight. Not bad. Ace queen, that's an all-in as well. But I will not push instantly, I think. Well, normally for me it's like that. Yeah, he raises under the gun. Why do you raise all in under the gun? Gotta be a weak hand. I have to call. I have no chips left. I have 8 blinds and I got ace queen. Oh, he has ace queen as well. He calls 2. I got more chips than him. I have a chance to still be in it. Ace queen kings. King, nice. Queen, no. I even have a diamond. 3,000, nice. Does he have to have kings? What the frick? That's unlucky. He hadn't had kings, would have had the same chips as we had before. But, I mean, I didn't like the all-in on the gun as well. With ace queen, you're most likely not ahead. But with ace 8 big blinds, what I'm gonna wait for. For nothing better than ace queen. And we still got a chance to double up, triple up, quadruple up. Depends. I mean, we had ace, won that. We had ace queen, ran into kings and ace queen. He could have had ace queen as well, or maybe jacks, and we would have won it with the queen and shared his money. I would like to come back from this. I would like to get to 100k in the next 10 hands. It happened. Sometimes it happens. Just need to get lucky. I need to go all in at least in the next 3 hands. I need, because I'm the big blind. The big blind is almost in my entire stack. I don't really want to be all in the big blind with some garbage hands, so I have to take the best next hand if I'll find. Any suited connector will do. Any ace will do. Any king will do. Any queen will do. I think. Maybe not queen deuce or something like that. The 3-9 is not really an all-in hand, so I don't want to wait for the big blind because I have to call all in on the big blind. We will have only left 2000 something, so I can't fold the big blind. Because then I will be dead in the small blind and not even have a chance if I win this. Because my chip stack will be so low. I have a chance when I go all in with 3000 big blind calls or something like that. Or player calls. And no, now it's a break. Or give me a break. Why do you do a break if I only have 3k? Oh man, that's unfortunate. Because I'm out of the tournament, very likely. And now I have to do another break and wait for 5 minutes for my result to show up. Info. 6, 9, 7, 9, maybe I'm in the money already. I don't think so, but could be. Yeah, I misclicked. I'm sorry. The wrong thing going up there. Please close it as of now. 1080s will get money, so I'm 200 short of the money. Well, I mean, who cares? 295 if we would have just made 80. It's not even good for our rate. So the first will get 211k, the second will get 155k, the third will get 112k, fourth 74k, fifth 57k, sixth 43k, seventh 30k, eighth 16k, ninth will get 10k, and 10th to 12th will get 7.7k. That's quite nice, but we will never reach it. We will go on break and we'll be back with the last hand we will be playing. Sorry for that, but what can I do? There's a break. See ya.